I just realized that I have this on backwards, and I'm gonna leave it as is. One of the things that I started doing when I had a quite reasonable collection, I consider myself a makeup hobbyist, is a project pen, because I started to feel really bad about purchasing more makeup and having so much makeup already, and it just didn't feel fulfilling or fun anymore. It didn't give me the gratification and the enthusiasm that I used to have when I would buy something, and it just seemed like another product to my makeup collection. So something that I started doing to kind of deal with that kind of guilt is a project pen. Okay, the sun is blaring right now. Blazing. One of the things that you do with a project pen, for the people who don't know what a project pen is that you commit to a couple of makeup products in your collection that you want to use, and you use them until you hit pen, until you see the metal pen, sometimes with powder products. Okay, I'm gonna shift right here for a second because this is intense. A project pen is something, it has a community, and it has a community of people who really like doing it, and I am one of those people. I really like doing a project pen. Unfortunately, sometimes I kind of suck at it, and I also kind of suck at doing YouTube in a way, because this year's project pen, I published my introduction of it at the end of February, which already is like crazy. But then I didn't give you an update. I kind of bailed almost a month after I published my introduction. Anyway, this is such a long introduction to say that I'm doing my project pen update. But I did want to give you my final update for this year's project pen, because I did some things. It was just not as intensely as I would have liked. And having said that, you know, we're gonna jump right into my final project pen update for this year, which was kind of a strange one because it's been 9 months. It was in my previous project pen as well. In my 2023 project pen, this palette was also in there. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. Unfortunately, I don't know how this happened, and I don't know why it happened. We can accuse a lot of people. I already had quite a considerable amount of pens in this palette, but unfortunately I dropped it. And some of the shimmers, mostly, well, actually only the shimmers, they cracked, and I could not fix them. So yeah, this is what the palette looks like right now. It's incredibly messy, first of all. Now, I already had quite a few pens in here, as you can see. So yeah, that's what the palette looks like. Now, was there any progress apart from me dropping this to the floor? Maybe, yes. I think whenever I had this urge or this kind of itch to do makeup, there were two palettes that I always went for. And when it comes to this palette, it's just a nice overall palette to have because it's a really, really good neutral palette. So I always kind of grab this palette because the tones kind of suit my complexion and my undertone very well, and it always creates a really nice base for whatever I'm gonna put on top. So if I need a black, for example, I usually go for this black. If I need some kind of transition shade that's slightly warm but not too warm, I go for these two. If I need a really nice dark brown that has some really nice like depth, it has depth and it has darkness and it's easy to blend and not patchy, I usually go for this one, which is Cypress Umber. So the shimmers I don't tend to go for that often. I grab this palette just very frequently because I think it's one of my only like full neutral palettes that is really created in a very cohesive manner. So I think there is some progress with this palette. I just don't think it's as much because, like I said, I haven't been using makeup that very often. Now, this is a palette, like I said, I grab for it all the time, so I'm already quite happy with the progress that I've made on this palette. I'm not gonna lie to you, this has been my mirror for like the entire year. So this is the mirror that I've been using, just because it's just so easy to like grab it and then do my makeup, you know? So this is the Beauty Bay Love Notes palette, and it's a limited edition one, so it's one that you can't get anymore. Another thing that really bugs me about the makeup industry, by the way, even though I get it, but like, don't create something so good and then discontinue it, you know? So this is a palette that I have used quite a bit. Every once in a while I would use a different shade, but I mainly used the shade Cotton, which is like this pale one, and then maybe sometimes a little bit of corset as like a transition shade, just like a wash of color. Because these shadows are quite pigmented, it's really hard to get any kind of like pan because you don't use all that much because it's very intensely pigmented and saturated. So yeah, this is the palette. Like I said, not much has changed, and it's been my mirror exposing myself. What a beautiful tripod. So next up we have a couple of products to discuss that I actually emptied, so they are no longer in my collection, but they were in the project pen. So when we're talking about makeup progress, that's amazing, you know, I love it when I empty something. Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop Skin Tint. It was the second time that I purchased that one. I think I purchased it first in the shade 3 and then I repurchased it in the shade 2, and I did empty that one as well. It's beautiful. Probably one of my favorite skin tints. I have come across one that I also really like. It's the Maybelline Super Stay 24-hour skin tint. Do I see myself repurchasing the Fenty Beauty skin tint in the future again? Probably yes, but I'm eager to try out some new stuff. So I'm gonna put it on the back burner for a bit. It's a very reliable skin tint for me. I know that when I buy it, it's gonna match me. It's gonna be a good match for my skin type as well. I have a dry skin type, so it works really nice with that. Another one that's also empty is the Rare Beauty Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer. I had that one as well, and what I usually did was mix it in with the Fenty Beauty skin tint, or I used it separately. I used both of them separately and also mixed together, because the Rare Beauty one is slightly more moisturizing, I would say, whereas the Fenty one is a very natural finish. It isn't too glowy. The Rare Beauty one is slightly more moisturizing and it has a little bit more of that wet look to it. I really like that one. I think I wouldn't necessarily repurchase it because of the undertones. I was a huge fan of like the formula and the consistency and the way that it wore on my skin. I wasn't the biggest fan of the undertone. It was maybe a little bit too yellow for my complexion. And there are other shades and formulas that suit me a little bit better. But still, it's empty, so I was very happy with that as well. Now, a product that I struggled with for a lifetime, and you know, there are these products that don't seem to end, and this was one of them. And it went on and on and on until I could no longer prolong its life. And that is the Essence This Is Me lipstick in the shade 03 Bold. Now, I had that lipstick for ages, and unfortunately it just went off. It wasn't well anymore. It started smelling a little bit funky. I have another product in here that I'm going to show you that is just not suitable for use anymore. That's kind of the thing with makeup. It has an expiration date, and it's a reason why I started consuming a little bit less, and also why I started doing a project pan to enjoy the products that I already have. I'm a lot more conscious now with what I buy, and because I struggle with classic lipsticks so much, I don't really purchase them anymore. So the Essence This Is Me lipstick, it wasn't my project pen. I was really aiming for it to be done, but unfortunately I was just not able to do so. I'm a little bit sad because I really did like the shade. It's just like that classic lip formula. Was not really necessarily my thing, and I don't think I would go back to it. A product that I have occasionally used, but I have a confession to make, is the Catrice Soft Glam Fluid Filter. So as you can see, it has like this line right here of where the product is right now. Now, I think of all of the filters like this, like these liquid highlighters that I've tried, the Catrice one is probably one of my favorites. I think one that takes the cake is definitely the Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow. I don't use highlighters anymore. I literally don't use them anymore. I'm sorry. Very, very, very occasionally dab into the world of the Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow. And to be honest, I have decluttered my makeup collection, like I said, and most of my highlighters went out because I just don't use them anymore. My skincare, you know, is in such a way already quite moisturizing and glowy that when I put makeup on top throughout the day, it kind of shines through. My skin has a little bit more texture, so I also don't want to emphasize that with using highlighter. So this one, I'm gonna keep it in my collection for now because I think this is one of those liquid highlighters that I do like the most. It's the best one that I've used apart from the Lisa Eldridge ones. And as long as this doesn't really go off, to be very honest, it doesn't smell that great anymore. I'm gonna have to test that out. So I might change my... Will I repurchase it? No. Probably not. Talking about highlighters, one of the highlighters that I gave away to someone is the Essence Make Me Glow highlighter. It was like the powder one. I really liked that one, and someone actually recommended using it. Well, I liked it and I didn't like it because the undertone was a little bit bronzy, and for my complexion that was just a little bit difficult. I gave that one away to someone. It was one of the products that went out of my collection when I did my declutter, so I no longer have that one, and it's also no longer part of this project pen. A product that I do still have and that I do still use is the Fenty Beauty In the Sun Stalkr bronzer. This has been with me for probably way past its expiration date. But it's a bronzer, and it's a bronzer that I had already penned before I started this project pen. But the reason that I put it in my project pen was to further the progress that I made and maybe in the end completely empty it. The bronzer that I'm using right now almost like daily, it's not what it's on my face right now, I use a different one. But this is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer in the shade Light. So as you can see, huge pen. I mean, look at that. This is probably gonna be the first bronzer that I ever completely emptied out. Now I'm thinking about it, I can't remember it, but I think so. So yeah, this is a bronzer that I use almost daily. The formula is really nice, the consistency is really nice, the way that it looks on my skin is really nice. The undertone is quite flattering to my skin tone. I really like the longevity of this, and I use it a lot for underpainting. This one is getting to the point of almost being a little bit too dark for me to wear the winter time. I'm getting really pale. It looks a little bit too orangey on me right now. I can get away with underpainting, but I know that in like a couple of weeks underpainting is not really gonna help anymore. I will make the transition to the Fenty Beauty one because this shade is just... I'm gonna apply a lot so you can actually see. This is the Fenty one. So it's a little bit more yellow. It's a little bit more neutral as well, not as warm. Oh, there goes the light. It's a bronzer where I have some progress, but it's not as much as I wanted to. So I'm probably gonna pick this up again in my next project pen and very soon make the transition from my Makeup by Mario one to this one, or maybe use them together. I'll see what I'll do. So on that product I have some nice progress. Another bronzer that I put in my project pen and literally put it in, never use it, is unfortunately the Danessa Myricks Beauty... I think this is called the Beauty Balm, and this is the shade Light 1. This is the lightest shade that they have, and the shade itself poses the problem, and the formula kind of also as well. I think it's gonna be hard to see on camera, but it's very yellow and almost like greenish. Yeah, so it's a little bit green, and I love that. It's like almost like an olive. Well, I think it's probably an olive undertone, and I really like that. I really like it on my complexion. The problem is the fact that it's quite pigmented, and as a pale person I find it difficult to work with. I put it in my project pen to try and use it a little bit more because I do like the shade, especially when I want to use something every single day. I want it to be hassle-free and I want it to be quick, and this is just not really that kind of product for me. Now I'm gonna try it with underpainting and see if I like it like that, and otherwise I'm gonna have to find some kind of solution. Obviously it's the last update for this project pen, and I'm gonna have to see what the underpainting can do in terms of using this product, because I'm sad. This is actually one of the only Danessa Myricks products that I have, and I know that her other products are like great, fantastic. And I want to love this, and I do love the shade. It's just, it's too pigmented for me. Oh yeah, we have a blush that I want to talk about. So the blush in my collection that I actually was using quite often during the summer is the Rare Beauty Stay Vulnerable Melting Pot Blushes, something like that. There are these little pots. Very cute. I have the shade Nearly Neutral and Nearly Mauve, I think. I kind of stopped using it and then I went to my Essence blushes. Then I wanted to pick it up again to use it again because I was like, oh, that was a really nice shade. It's gonna go very well with this autumn weather and blah, 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 blah. And then I opened it and I was like, oh, that's not usable anymore. So yeah, this is the shade Nearly Neutral. And then from afar, you probably think nothing's wrong with this. If this grosses you out, I haven't used it like this, by the way. So this is what it looks like right now. You can see that it's moldy. It has some mold right there. It has some mold in the middle. And like, I opened it up and I was like, oh, all right. Okay, that's done. And it's beautiful. It's just like, I'm not putting that on my face anymore in any capacity. That's a project pan update on this product. It's going away. It's going in the trash. Products that are empty. I'm taking my computer for a second. So some other products that are empty is the Essence Multitasking Concealer. That one is empty. Used it, loved it. Probably not necessarily going back. It wasn't that mind-blowing of a concealer in my opinion, and the undertone was quite yellow as well. The other one that I had was the Catrice Clean ID High Coverage Concealer. That one is also empty. I emptied it I think a couple of months ago. Was nice. Again, not something that I would go back to, and the shade was too dark for me. The only way that I was actually able to use it was by mixing it in with another concealer. Then we have the Catrice Couleur Eyeshadow Frosted Bronze. I actually gave that one to someone else. Then we have two lip liners. I know you're gonna hear me coming. Forget about that. So these are the two lip liners that I put in my project pen. So we have the Nabla Cosmetics. It's been so long since I've purchased anything from Nabla. So this is the Nabla Close-Up Lip Liner in the shade 2. As you can see, not a whole lot left of this, and I actually have to use it again. It's a beautiful creamy lip liner. Maybe it's a little bit too much of a creamy formula because it's not working. I think it's maybe a little bit too much of like a creamy formula because it doesn't really dry down and then it gets a little bit messy sometimes. This is like, if you look at it, there's not a whole lot left of this. So there was a once upon a time that I really did like using this. I think there is quite a bit of progress on this though. I have to check the other video from 9 months ago. Then the other one is the Catrice Hey Macadamia Hey Lip Liner. This has been discontinued I think for about 5 to 6 years by now. I still love it though. It's one of my favorite lip liners, and you know, again, there's not a whole lot left of this. I think I'm gonna use this a little bit more because it's a beautiful way of doing like this kind of berry vampy look. So those are the lip liners. Again, not a whole lot of progress because I mean, what did you expect? I haven't done any of this in like 9 months. A lip product that I have is the LA Colors lip oil. We are about halfway with this product. This is a beautiful product. I love it. It's lip oil, but it's still not really greasy, so it's still kind of on that fringe of being a lip gloss, but it's a very thin formula, a very glidey formula. Very smooth as well. So this is a product that I still use, and I think I will continue to use it. I might actually take that with me into my Project Pen 2025 because I love it. It's really good. It's really good. The other one that I had is the Catrice Marblicious Liquid Lip Balm. Now I don't know what happened to that one, but I'm guessing that kind of the same thing as this blush. I was using it not very often, I have to say. Like the wand was blue and I was like, what is this? Because the lip gloss itself is like a very pale nudie brown, like a beigey brown almost, and then I was like, why is the wand blue? And then it also smelled weird, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna toss this out because it was a product with an expiration date, if I remember correctly, of like 6 months, so it was shorter than most of their lip products, if I remember correctly, but I'm pretty sure I do. Okay, so that were all the products. So this was the final update for my Project Pen 2024. It wasn't the best project pen that we did, obviously, because I introduced you to my project pen and then I kind of left you in the dirt. I'm hoping to not do that in 2025. I'm hoping for better things in 2025, and I'm hoping for a better project pen update routine as well. I do want to thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you subscribe for more upcoming project pen videos and also other content that I make. And yeah, Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!